Hey guys, Sav here, back with some more Let's Play Guild Wars 2. This is the day after the patch. I did not play any after that first chapter of the story. I decided to do the fractal for the day. Spent a lot of time learning how to do the new fractal. The final encounter in that fractal is pretty difficult. And will take me some getting used to, and I still unfortunately haven't beaten it yet. There was actually a lot of bugs associated with it, and there was also some patches that went through forcing us to restart, and it ended up just being a mess. Hopefully, but it's something that I felt like I was on the verge of getting. It's not like I felt like I was that far off of actually nailing it down. I will say that there's a new fractal, new mislock instability called I forget exactly what it's called, but it basically takes the Fractal Avenger out and gives you another Fractal guy with a great sword, and he's a jerk. He really hurts. And T4, the Fractal 87, which is the new Fractal, has him, and he's not fun. Vindicator, the Fractal Vindicator is what he's called. He's not fun, especially when you're learning something new. He hurts. He basically helps basically ruin your life. So anyway, we're going to continue with the story today. It's called Under the Stars, Travel to Istin. So we're going to speak with Dockmaster Jonik at the Amnion Harbor to procure passage to Istin. So we're just around the corner from it, so we'll head on over.
On your way, Outlander. Only ship's crew allowed on my docks.
I need passage to Istan.
Everybody needs something. Hold on. I know that face. Palawa Joko's put a price on your head, friend.
That's so. Last time I saw Joko, he wasn't in a position to make threats.
Either way, I don't take his coin. This rig's headed for Istan. I can stow you aboard if you'd like. Ain't exactly the royal stateroom, but it'll get you there. If you can keep your high-priced head out of sight.
I just realized I was talking to his back that whole time. Anyway, take the boat to Istan. So I have not been to this new map at all yet. I'm a little disappointed about that, unfortunately, but I'm heading there now, finally. And looks like we're here.
New bounties posted. Corsairs are smelling gold again.
The awakened are smelling blood.
It says determine the location of the Astrolarium. Find the Astrolarium. I don't see anything on the map, so I guess I'll just run around until I find something. Oh, we found the Astrolarium. Over there maybe? Not exactly sure where it wants me to go. There's still no star on my map.
This must be the Astrolarium.
Wow, looks pretty cool.
Now to find the head archivist.
Alright, we're going on foot from here. Found you.
Welcome to the Astrolarium, the supreme repository of knowledge in Istan. What is it you seek? Wait a... You're the Tyrian hero. The God Killer. The Dragon Slayer. Canuck's crony.
You know Canuck?
Canuck's crony.
There's a bounty on your head. Are you trying to get
Everything
turned
all
in?
right over there?
Praise be to beneficent Joko, who patronizes our intellectual pursuits.
I need to find the Sunspear base.
Lower your voice. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't believe you. Why so nervous?
There are those here who, from fear or greed, rewrite our histories to glorify King Joko, whereas others risk their lives to preserve the truth.
I admire your courage. I want to help, but I need to get in touch with the Sunspears.
To protect our most sacred tomes, Archivist Salwa has locked them in the restricted archive. That's also where you'll find the secret entrance to the Sunspear's base. But you can't just waltz in. Salwa is militant. She won't admit anyone until she's convinced they oppose Joko.
So I'll convince her. I'm no fan of Joko, and I don't think he's too thrilled with me either.
Words alone will never sway her. Joko's minions have been here for weeks revising the histories to lionize that fiend. If you can put a stop to it, I suspect Salwa will be more than happy to let you in.
Alright, I just had a lot of background noise going on. I'm trying to get it all muted for us here. Okay, so what do I have to do? It says, help Archivist Salwa preserve the Australium's records. Looks like I have to do this heart. So I'll do the heart. Realign and repair telescopes, mirrors, record star readings, clean obelisk engraved, and reshelve lost books. Alright. Let's finish the heart. Now let's speak with Archivist Radha.
Impressive. I think you've done more than enough to prove you're truly anti-Joko.
Yeah, just a few
You
mirrors.
shouldn't have any problem getting Salwa to let you into the restricted archive. Tell her I've sent you to retrieve a book called Nightfall. The book will reveal the entrance to the Sunspear base.
Nightfall. That's not too conspicuous or anything. Hey, look, another bone wall.
Archivist Radha sent me to fetch a book for her. The title is Nightfall. She said you'd know it.
Every page, by heart. Radha has an eye for history. And apprentices too, it seems. Enter, and do not fail her.
Nightfall. Nightfall.
The book has been heavily edited and altered, with handwritten notes scribbled throughout. There's a page bookmark. Turn to it. The Apocrypha challenged the Great Pahlavi Joko to single combat, transforming itself frantically from form to form in an attempt to best the unbeaten Lich King. The word Joko is highlighted. Continue reading. The king played with it for a time, deriving amusement from the melee, but soon his corpsefulness grew weary of the battle, and with a snap of his fingers, he felled the ancient guardian. Continue reading. With the Apocrypha broken at his feet, the Great Pahlavi Joko said, "It's just like you monoliths to crack under pressure. The undead king set off to Corna to face the deceitful Osa. Skip ahead to the next bookmarked page. Then Palawa Joko dared the demon to eat Cormier's eye. Do it! Dragging a blind woman through the abyss and back might actually prove a challenge. With a scream and a slurp, the demon obeyed. Continue reading. Is this the best Corna has to challenge me? Enough of this. To Vabi. The word is highlighted. Continue reading. Your false god will kneel before me, Osa. His Majesty Palawa Joko gloated over the war marshal's corpse. I shall protect the people of Alona from nightfall you've attempted to bring upon them. The word false is highlighted. Continue reading. The great king then opened a rift to the realm of torment. With his bare hand, and the god of secrets whimpered. Palawa Joko was coming, and none who stand in his way lived to tell the tale. The page is blank except for 3 glowing spaces. You recall 3 glowing words in this book. Joko is false. We already did that.
Another personal victory. I am First Spear Hakima of the Istani Sun Spears.
You know who I am?
Every Sun Spear knows who you are. And I believe we have some common interests. Joko's hold on Istan has weakened in his absence. Some of us here even dare to dream of a new era.
I left Joko rotting in a cage in the domain of the lost. Should definitely make for smoother sailing.
You would think. But the number of awakened grows. They're retaking towns we freed, including Champion's Dawn. And someone claiming to be Joko is offering rewards for the heads of his enemies. Especially yours.
So I hear. I'll tread carefully. To that end, I'm here to ask if you can get me into Fahrenor.
Oh. I'm afraid not. Only our leader knows the way. Spear Marshal Zaim guards that secret with his life. He rode south to retake Champion's Dawn from the Awakened. The priest there, Sazir, usually knows where he is.
Then that's where I'm headed.
Alright guys, that is the end of chapter 2 of part 2 of Living World Season 4 Chapter 1.
And that's that.
Under the Stars is what it was called. It's complete. It looks like we have some optional dialogue, so I'll just see what he has to say. Is there something else you would like to know? Tell me more about the Sun Spears.
The Sun Spears are an ancient order. Honorable protectors from brighter years in Alona's history. Most of my brothers and sisters were awakened and forced to serve Joko. You know them now as the Mordant Crescent. A few survived, in hiding. Recruiting to sustain the order across the generations in hopes they might one day rise against Joko. Zaim has become the Spear Marshal of these Sun Spears. We serve his vision of an Istan free from Joko's grasp.
Tell me more about Zaim.
Zaim was trained by a Sun Spear named Ketur, until word of Istan's plight reached his ears. When Balthazar attacked the mainland, things got worse in Istan. Much worse. Istan was Zaim's home, and despite his mentor's protests, he could not sit by while it burned. Zaim vowed to bring the Sun Spears out of the shadows, to once again make them a shield for the innocent and the scourge of the corrupt. I was the first he recruited, but many would follow. Eventually, we convinced him to take the title of Spear Marshal.
Tell me about the rebellion.
Balthazar's campaign on the mainland caused ripples throughout the kingdom. Crops burned, trade lines disrupted, shipments to Istan that never got past Palawadan. Joko's loyalists are comprised mainly of the island's nobility, and only they are allowed to live within Palawadan, its port city. They control what comes in and what goes out. They decided food would not go out. When people objected, the Temple of Joko said those outside Palawadan's walls were disloyal and didn't deserve food. It started out as a way for the nobility to feel virtuous watching half the island starve. But it escalated. Quickly.
How did the fighting start?
Isner Isles had enough. and declared their independence from the rest of Istan. By then, the temple congregation had armed themselves. The loyalists went down there, intending to make an example of the disloyal. Zaim was prepared, though. He taught us a great deal about guerrilla tactics. The Sun Spears crushed the loyalists, sent them running all the way to the northern shore. The awakened garrison was manned by a skeleton crew, no pun intended, thanks to your liberation of the mainland forces. Nonetheless, the Mordant Crescent sent 50 Awakened to find this famous Sunspear champion and end the rebellion. We don't know how he did it, but two facts are undisputed. Those Awakened lie dead, and Zaim lives. The people started calling him the hero of Istan. It galvanized the whole island behind him.
So what turned the tide against the Sunspears?
The Mordant Crescent and their loyalists imposed martial law, even within Palawadon itself. They started conscripting the living and awakening the dead. If you won't serve in life, you can always serve in death. Anyone suspected of aiding the Sunspears gets rounded up for re-education. With their supply lines broken, their families imprisoned, recruits getting harder and harder to find. Well, as you can imagine, things started falling apart. The Mordant Crescent would rather watch Istan burn than tolerate any commoner who shows some spine. And Zaim and his Sunspear recruits? Well, we have spines of iron.
Alright. That is going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time for part 3. I'm sorry, of chapter 1.